Oh, for the Air Force. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Let's wait a minute.
Sorry, very long last name.
I
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call June 18th, 2020 Village Board meeting to order. 2, roll call, shows everyone is present except Attorney Sorensen, who is excused. 3, agenda changes. None. 4, consent agenda. A, June 4th, 2020 regular board meeting minutes. B, June 4th, 2020 committee of the whole meeting minutes. C, licenses and permits as presented. 2020 to 2021 renewal liquor licenses. Combination Class B and Class B fermented malt beverage and liquor license as presented. 6-month Class B alcohol license as presented. Temporary Class B retailer license as presented. D, presentation of accounts and other claims against the village. Are there any questions?
There's one. I think Ben has one.
Yeah, I do. One on the invoice listing, Advantage Overhead Door LLC, it was $8,075, and I just talked to Carl about it. We had made the motion about anything over 5,000 had to be approved.
So we're gonna bring that back, but I had ordered those doors last year, and they just showed up one day. And, sorry.
So in the motion, do we still approve this, right? Or do we make it, what do we do?
Well, it wasn't approved when you ordered them last year.
Well, it was approved in the budget.
In the budget.
See, that's that gray area that I always, because I specifically say garage doors in the budget, so in $10,000, but it only was
What
I don't
we need to
think
do?
Then we already approved it.
Well, I didn't know because we had brought that up about anything over 5,000 and
you know,
for
it's different if it's a car or
for
a piece of
consistency
equipment.
purposes, I just
This
brought
is
it up.
maintenance on the building, and it was in the budget kind of thing. I can see her. We'll try to do better next time.
So do you want the motion to include this or to, I guess, has the check already been sent?
Yes,
I mean,
the check
check's
has
already
been
sent.
sent out.
So if we need to do more of a formality, we could do it next meeting, if we need to.
Right.
I think if it was already approved in the budget, we probably don't need to. but
And it was a line item?
It's already a
for
line
the
item.
budget?
Yeah.
It's already
So
a
it was a
line
line
item,
item, yeah.
so.
But that's not unusual for some to be in budget ordered and then come in later on because
Yeah.
of back orders or scheduling. and
You know, it's
everything else.
different if it was a squad car or a pickup truck. You know, we typically go out and get quotes anyways, but we typically will bring 2 or 3 quotes back to the board if it's something like that. But this person here has done our garage and door work for quite a while, and they're typically the best price. So we ordered them last fall, hoping to get them in January, but with everything that happened, they just showed up one day here about 2 weeks
How many
ago.
doors will replace, Carl?
All 3 of them. And they were pretty bad. These are twice the R value, actually almost 3 times the R value. So we were losing a lot of electricity, a lot of heat down there.
They say after like 4 or 5 years, they get so damp that they weigh like 30 or 40% more.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. They fought with the old doors.
Okay, and then I do actually have one more question about the license, the establishment. There's one of them, line number 28, Dylan Bishel. Is there supposed to be an establishment on that one?
He has various on his application, so he must work at a couple different communities.
Okay, so it's not, I just
Places?
didn't know if we
Yeah.
needed to, okay.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Roll call. Dan?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. 5, pre-registered citizens to be heard, and there are none. 6, committee reports. There are none. 7, unfinished business from previous meeting. There is none. 8, new business. A, bid award, Warner Street paving project.
I handed out a contract bid summary, or a bid tab, we did a class 1 notice, we're publishing out for Warner Street. We got approval to go out for bids from the board at the last meeting, and we got two bids in total. The usual suspects, MCC and Northeast Asphalt. If you look at the numbers there, one was, I had estimated 218 at last year's value, last year's pricing. But they revised asphalt pricing for this year anyways. It came in at 199 for MC and MCC and 152, 294, 55 for Northeast Asphalt. Ran all the numbers, comparing tonnage against yards. I specified yardage, but you can convert it to tonnage depending on the density of the asphalt. Anyways, there's a little wiggle room even in Northeast Asphalt regarding tonnage. I figure they've got 100 and something yards of extra tonnage going in. So they both looked at the project, and I would be okay with either company doing it, but I'm going to choose the lower price every time. So I'm recommending we award it to Northeast Asphalt Incorporated. If you see my memo I handed out, I've actually got it.
I'll make a motion to award the 2020 Warner Street paving contract to Northeast Asphalt.
I have-
Amount of-
Go ahead. I have a question, but just go ahead, because it's not gonna change the motion.
No, let's go ahead and,
The question came because the last meeting, the school district, their budget year ends June 30th. Are they able to pay that amount by June 30th, or are they splitting it over to?
we're probably, I mean, it's best left for David, but I think we're going to split it, or get some up front,
Okay,
and then they can pay an assessment on the remainder.
and they know this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Kind of. Well, they know, yeah.
They do. So to answer your question, Julie, today, conversations back and forth with Dave Woodman. The school district is on the hook for 80.1% of this project.
okay,
Their intent is to, before the end of the school year, reimburse the village the $38,000 and change that was given to them for the closure of TID 2. That was money that was not expected they received, so it was unbudgeted for them as well.
okay,
So in fairness, he said it makes sense for us to give it back to us as a down payment on the project.
okay. I just don't know if they have another board meeting before the end of the month. That's
They
why I
do,
just think
next week, Tuesday,
Monday or Tuesday,
Monday or
okay.
Tuesday.
Okay, I just want to make sure that before we move ahead, that
Yeah.
the
So
biggest party on here is aware.
we still have,
Either way, we already have a way to pay for it.
Okay.
So then we could push a full assessment on the school district. And that's the option that we have
Okay.
moving forward. When it comes to that assessment, we could go with any number we so choose to all the other parties. I have had conversations with the bank already. More than likely, they're gonna prepay on it as well.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted to make sure
Yep.
before we,
yep.
because I know that was kind of a loose end that we didn't necessarily.
we're still going to have to go through the assessment process, so I'll work with Sorensen on that. And yeah, we'll hammer out those details later, but we're not going to certainly,
I just know the reason why we pushed it
Yes.
ahead a little bit was because of that budget year
yeah,
difference, okay.
yeah.
And,
Also Oak Street.
Hmm?
Also Oak Street, because in the best interest of what's happening with COVID this year, that would be a good time to expedite the process, and then next year, we're also looking at doing Oak Street reconstruction, so you'd have Warner and Oak down at the same time next year, which would really hamper travel around the school. So it's a smart move to expedite this one for this year.
Okay.
MCC's, that was just LT mix too, wasn't it? When we looked at MCC's bid, that was just a LT mix instead of MT, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it was, but we told them MT, for, at least
Okay.
for the highway, at least for the first section by Quick Trip. But there was the thicker, there was one thicker there like we requested. I think both these companies have their own plants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm confident in both. It's just some years MCC beats everybody in pricing, and other years it's somebody else, so.
Keep in mind, Northeast Asphalt also was rewarded at our last board meeting 3 other projects in the village, so I'm thinking economies of scale we had to play into this as well. They also notified the village that they will be completing all of these projects at one time. So this is gonna be a very expedited process throughout the meetings here.
all right. then
There's
I will-
also a drop dead date. They know August 21 it has to be completed by, and that was at the request of the school district as well.
in the amount of $152,294.55, plus an additional $5,000 for discretionary curb repairs.
I'll second.
Roll call. Dan?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. D is R-15-20, TID number 3, interest charges.
All right, I will speak to this. This was brought to our attention from Mr. Nathan, who is not here this evening. The same discussion we can have for R-15-20, we can have for R-16-20. We can approve those separately. However, essentially what you have on 15 is TID number 3, and on R-16 you have TID number 4. Both of these projects and projects that have been looming in these TID districts have taken money from the general fund. And in our repayment process, we did not set an interest rate that we can charge the TID for the funds that we have from the general fund. Because by taking it out of the general fund, we are not having it in the bank and we do not have it collecting interest. So we are statutorily allowed to set an interest rate. So at that time, when we dispersed the money, we were making 3%. Hence, we have put a 3% interest rate to charge TID 3 and TID 4 accordingly. So just a cleanup on our end that we can go back and work our books and make some more money for the village when it's time to collect on it.
Do you feel,
Are we limited to the 3%?
yeah, I was just gonna.
Yeah, I was thinking, can we charge them credit card rates, 19%?
Yeah, right. I asked, they generally do is a going rate. is
Okay.
what- So currently, we're at 1.4,
1.7.
1.7 is what we're on investments. So it's gone down consistently since the term of events here with the government.
So we do 3 because if we were to
3%
borrow the
is where it
money.
was when we did the Grandview project and the disbursements last year for like Vance Construction out of TID 4. It was that we were gaining 3% on our investments. So that's what we decided to set it at. So it's an internal number. We are,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, so it has no bearing.
okay. Well, I mean, it does, because you're pulling money out of
Correct.
out of that TID.
Yep.
Okay. I was just wondering if you could look at it from the perspective of what it would cost if we had to take out a bond for that. What would the percentage be instead of, which is probably gonna be higher than 3%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right now, the market, having just talked to Jason at the bank, it's about 3.25 to 3.5 on an operator.
So you just need a motion for each one of these?
Yeah, yeah. And if there's separate discussion, we'd have to entertain it.
All right. I will make a motion for R-15-20, resolution charging interest on the advance from the general fund to tax incremental finance district number 3.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. C, R-16-20, TID number 4, interest charges.
Again, no different, just a different TID.
And I'll make a motion to approve R-16-20, resolution charging interest on the advance from the general fund to tax incremental finance district number 4.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. D, R-17-20, Act 185.
Excuse me. This came from Allegheny County. They basically are giving a break to late postponed property taxes. And they just sent out an email wondering if any of the municipalities will also take the resolution to their board. They are still going to settle with everybody on August 20th, so they're not gonna hold up our payments. Do you know what I mean? For the property taxes. So they're shouldering that burden. Basically, it's just, the interest would be waived on postponed parcels as of April 1 until October 1, 2020. So,
Do they have to apply for that waiver, or is it just automatic?
it's just automatic.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I can,
If not, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve R-17-20, authorizing waiver of interest and penalties on property tax payment installments due on or after April 1st, 2020.
Second it?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. E, award bid, Public Works for HVAC project.
Yeah, let me take that. We have in our secondary building, which is, I forget the number of it, we put numbers in all the buildings. Anyways, our secondary building is where we pump effluent into the river. It's also where we house the ultraviolet control panel. It's an $80,000 box, about 2 feet deep and 4 feet wide. Anyways, it has circuit boards in there, blades.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're very susceptible to heat. When we originally put that in the building, the engineers didn't cool that room that was in. And we're constantly having alarms and this and that, and failure and burning through circuit boards, blades. They just slide in and out, but they're about $800 a pop. So we've about burned through about 10 of those since, until we finally got smart and put our own air conditioning units in the windows. But those things last a year or two, and then you're buying another one, and then you're buying another one. So just about tired of those things failing at the worst time, and then, you know, then we start burning boards. Anyways, we want to take, use money out of the utility budget to purchase a permanent air conditioner unit that's mounted, what do they call them, David?
Mini splits.
Yeah.
It's a ductless air conditioning system that has an outside compression unit, and it pipes through the wall, and it has a condenser unit in the inside. So you'd see about the size of half of a TV on the upper wall, and it blows the air conditioning through there, but all the outside circuitry and the condensing units are outside on the slab, so.
Yeah, we got 3 quotes, I don't have them in here, but the other quotes included heat, and they were all $5,000 to $6,000. But we don't need heat in there, that building that runs naturally warm. Anyhow, I'm gonna plan on paying for this out of the regular budget. If we get down towards the end of the year, money starts getting tight in the regular budget, then I might come back and get the approval to use equipment replacement funds. One nice thing about those monies is we can come back at a later date, even after the first of the year, and apply that to this year. So I'd rather not, I'd rather see how the budget goes, and see if we can squeeze it in with what we have. The odds are that we may have to use equipment replacement fund money down the road, because we had a VFD fail down at the wastewater plant that controls the blower. Those are usually $3,000 to $6,000 depending on the unit. It's always something going on down there. We've had quite a bit of failure at the 10-year mark on this wastewater plant. Nothing too serious, but yeah. I'm muddying the water here. I'm looking for approval for this HVAC. So.
I'll make a motion to award the WWTP HVAC contract in amount of $4,200.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Dan?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. F, any other miscellaneous topics for future discussions? None, we'll go to 9, report of village officials. A, clerk treasurer.
We received the payment from FEMA for the storm damage that happened in the spring of 2019 in the amount of $16,720.78. This will be split between the fire department and the public works department. We are expecting another payment of $955.47, which will be allocated to the police department. The annual audit was completed. However, the TID financials didn't match the TID reports from Ellers. So Kerber Rose is reworking on amending them. And I will let you know the date for the presentation of the audit as soon as I hear from Kerber Rose. So regarding that, when we did the TID 2 closeout, Kerber Rose did it. But when they gave us the financials, the audit, it didn't match their closeout, which was kind of interesting. So when I was trying to do the TID reports, annual TID reports, I contacted Ellers and said, what's going on here? And then he gave me how it should look. So, to be continued. Let's see.
It's been a stymie. I've spent some serious time on it as well, trying to figure it out with Jane, and we did the questionnaire, so Dave Ferris with Ayers is also very puzzled. So we're not quite sure what happened in the process. It's getting fixed.
Is there a big discrepancy or?
No, it's just nothing was jiving.
Right, nothing was jiving.
Yeah, and this is all with TID 2, so this has already been closed and put to bed, so.
Okay.
It was actually all the TIDs.
All the TIDs correct, but the bigger question came out of 2. It wasn't, yeah.
In the packet was a list of the renewal operators licenses that were issued. And that's all I have.
Any questions for Jane? If not, we'll move to B, Director of Public Works.
I just have a couple. The annual village-wide rummage sale, I don't know if David doesn't talk about that, is Saturday, August 8th. It's late in the year compared to normal, again due to COVID. So you'll be seeing flyers and everything on that. Part of emergency management wanted everybody to know June 23rd is Lightning Safety Awareness Day. Just that's serious business. Whenever I have employees out working, especially in the ball field, something like that, storm comes up, I make sure they know what to get out of there. We ordered 1 gallon bottles of hand sanitizer for the court, but we also got extra for the library in case they need some. And we're gonna keep one in here and some in the PD. We wanna have, whatever customers walk in, we wanna have one of these bottles, so you'll be seeing that around here. And the state is gonna lift the moratorium on utility disconnections. Again, water and sewer, if they're behind on their payments, they're gonna lift that moratorium on July 25th. At that point, we can start accruing interest on these delinquent accounts. So Lisa will be busy starting that day. So. And I've got some stuff here for Jeannie to sign before we leave tonight. So other than that, that's all I have.
Is it delinquents, is that a pretty big?
Well, yeah, we I don't know the exact number, but it's thousands of dollars a year we make off the delinquent.
Okay.
I think Jeannie can recall it's not enough to pay off the wastewater plant, but it's a significant revenue source.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
it's in the thousands of dollars.
It adds up.
Easy, yeah.
Well, I mean, the cost of water, that doesn't mean it's that many.
And we have one out there that's over 2 million gallons or something like that, so.
So the loss of revenue
2 million.
from those delinquent accounts, could that be included in what we're potentially
Yeah,
submitting as
for
a
the CARES.
loss?
They talked about it, but I don't know if they actually approved it, because they gave a lot of leeway to businesses and other places, but basically told local governments that you're kind of on your own. We are tracking expenditures related to COVID, but I don't know if that's authorized. It hasn't been, I haven't heard of it being authorized yet, because that was asked.
Okay, it's a loss.
It is, but they're not quick to repay the cities, you know.
Okay.
It's different if you're big enough to get direct payments from the feds, but we have to take what Madison gives us.
For Warner Street, you want to just put on your sheet, we'll stripe that right away too, so that's full project's done.
Get that striped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll stop
I
that.
think they qualify that as expected. An unbudgeted expense, not a loss, right?
Qualified, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Can't quantify.
unbudgeted expense versus
Unbudgeted
unbudgeted
was highlighted and underlined on that application, so
Mhm.
they're gonna push the issue pretty hard.
Yeah, I think you got anything else? I can't think of anything. I'm
No,
sure
that
there's
was
a
just,
dozen
I keep
things.
thinking anywhere we've lost money that we would normally expect to have, like as a revenue
Well,
in the budget, I think we just, I
I've
thought
got a
interesting.
folder on my desk, and Libby keeps track of vouchers that have anything, if they're written in COVID, we'll put COVID on a voucher. And she's tracking all that. Unfortunately, we don't really have any payroll, well,
Police does.
The police do.
The police
They have
do.
the SRO, that
SRO contract.
position, SRO, which looks like that, we can do that, any kind of laptops, any kind of PPE. You know, we have the CARES Act, and then it looks like the president has also signed, something came down yesterday about, we could use it as a cost share for a FEMA grant, for the FEMA grant. So FEMA grant is always the last case that we can use, so we as a municipality have to go for the CARE Act first, and then we can use the FEMA, as a second.
You guys are on top of it, yeah, it's just, yeah,
The CARE Act goes to the state, right?
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
They have to feed
Deal
it.
with,
FEMA
it's called
instead of-
boards of recovery.
Right. But when we do FEMA, we have to do a 25% cost share, so we can use that portion of that for the FEMA.
We are tracking expenses.
I know you are, it's just, it was a thought, because you mentioned that it was lost revenue,
It's just-
so.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of the things that, what should be obvious aren't, so,
And that's so iffy.
you know.
You don't really know how much you're losing, so that's why
That's
probably.
not a fixed
Even the-
amount, it's a variable
Right,
amount, so
it's
it's
variable
problematic.
from year to year, so.
Even the FEMA payment that Jane got back, we have to look back at our records, because we had allocated that toward like the snow pusher blade, stuff like that, so, I'm not sure, I think some of that's gotta go back. It's just, everything gets drawn out so long that
Mhm.
you almost forget where you're at.
And it ends up being a lot less than what we're expecting too, because we were looking at close to 40,000 and we end up with 16,000 by the time that FEMA looks it over, so.
Any other questions for Carl? We'll go to C, Police Chief.
I just have a couple things. With the whole COVID, we've, it looks like National Night Out is being moved to the first Tuesday in October. So we're gonna still try to plan that at Commercial Club Park. We've already got the park reserved. Starting next week, Monday through July 5th is the statewide Click It or Ticket campaign. Being involved in that, then we get thrown into a drawing for a $4,000 grant. So they randomly pick 44 agencies for a $4,000 grant. So that we can use for equipment and stuff like that. Just an update on Sean, the card. Did everybody get to sign it? Okay. Yep. So Sean's off today. He was off yesterday. So Brian Barr, with the SRO contract, he is officially came out onto the road and is working this summer. So he's been like filling in for Sean. So he's working 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. today. Did the same thing yesterday, and I think he worked 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. on the other day. So we're just gonna kind of use him for vacations and stuff like that. I mean, it's anticipated back in, my understanding is 5 years ago, when the SRO contract came into play. It was known that month and a half, 2 months, because he'll go back to the road or back into the schools on about August 15th. So we're gonna use them, where the busiest times of the Friday nights, Saturday nights and stuff like that, and sick calls and vacations. So I plan on taking the week off in July. You know what, right? Speak of the devil. Look at him in uniform, it still fits. I don't see him this way too
He was
often.
fine, the belt kind of shrunk in the closet. There, but
COVID.
Other than that,
If your tires are slashed later, we'll know.
I don't have anything other than that, if anybody's got any questions.
No questions, we'll move to D, Library Director.
Very quick, our first week and a half of being open has gone really well. We've only seen a handful of people coming in without masks. We're not requiring them, but we're encouraging them, and mostly people have been very respectful of the changes in our space, and the hand sanitizer dispenser was a great investment. It's gone really well. We launch our summer programming on Monday, this coming Monday. That's really all I have.
Programming online, right?
Online
Yeah.
programming. Yeah, there'll be some very small in-person challenges, but not really encouraging large gatherings, so, yeah.
Any questions for Ally? We'll move to E, attorney.
Nothing from Bob.
Okay. F, administrator.
It's on your handout here. Economic development, if you haven't noticed, TID 3, there's been quite a lot of movement over there recently. Inland Excavating concluded their initial lot clearing and shaping yesterday. Material was hauled to the backside of Otto Miller Field on Field 5 to be used for the lower baseball diamond, as well as what Carl would say, the finish of the composting area to the north of the baseball field. We're hoping to have that composting site up and ready for use this fall before the leaves start coming in. As Carl, in regards to community development, as Carl said earlier, the Village Rummage Sale has been rescheduled to August 8th. Park and Rec sign-up was concluded last week, Friday. Spoke with Mike. As of now, there's 85 participants, so it is down a little bit. He does get called daily, so that number is going to flux up until when we start. Planning on meeting with him again tomorrow. He is, him and I have been in constant conversation. Temporary fishing pier is to be installed next week, Friday the 26th. That came through this week also. They are very, very busy, as you can imagine, with this time of year.
Which one?
Temporary pier, August 26th, that'll be in Veterans Park.
That's where we're moving the one from?
No, this will be, they're gonna bring this on site as a temporary solution until they can get the permanent one installed this fall.
Okay.
Then the boat landing that is currently in, the boat launch will be retrofitted and reset next spring in Black Otter Park.
Okay.
For village programming and planning, all of the cemetery land and the sale is complete. All the properties have been conveyed. Bob Sorensen took care of all the legal notices. The final staking will occur on Monday the 22nd. So all of the homeowners have been notified. I've also made it apparent to all the department heads, a 6-month review process has been started in all departments. Deliverables are anticipated prior to the July 16th village board meeting. So we are well on our way to a 6-month update. Rideshare van training for the volunteers is scheduled for Tuesday, the 23rd, which is next week Tuesday at 10 a.m. As I stated last meeting, we are expected to start on July 6th for a rollout with that program. We are also, with weather, looking to start on the garage and get, I would say, 75% of it completed next week. Construction behind the building here. I attended with Jim the fire district meeting on Tuesday night. They did their year-to-date budget review. We can discuss that a little bit further here when it comes to their topic. Ryan St. John and I also took a public works trip to Aqua Aerobics yesterday in Joliet, Illinois. We're evaluating future needs of the wastewater treatment plant. There's a media that would help eliminate phosphorus and reduce the levels of effluent discharge to the Wolf River. So those are options that we're already starting to look at. Those changes are looming with the DNR, possibly 7 years out potential.
Yeah.
7 to 9, but the technology's there now. We're looking at potential upgrades to the plant that we need to potentially budget for future needs. I'm still continuing almost daily webinars related to COVID-19, and then we haven't officially declared a cancellation, but I wanted to update the board. As of right now, on July 2nd, there is not a lot on the agenda. We have nothing, in fact. And my intent would be to ask for a cancellation notice by primarily a week from today to give everybody notice. If nothing comes through, I would ask permission to just cancel the July 2nd meeting to give everybody notice. But as of right now, we have nothing. So. Okay, any concerns on that?
Question about meeting cancellations. I still have on my digital calendar the second Monday of every month for public safety. We earmarked that. Should I just get it off my calendar? Because it screws our family up every time I see it.
We tried to establish a date, Jim, and then.
Yeah.
And I just put it out there perpetual for a few years.
Okay.
So I'll take it off.
I don't think it ever came to fruition, really.
No, so I'm just gonna take it off. No one else has it, I'm assuming?
I did, but
You did too. And so my kids will say, you have a meeting tonight, Mom? And I'm like, no, I don't. Do I? And then I look, and sure enough, it's there, but I know I don't have a meeting. So I don't mind.
I just put placeholder in mine, so I ignore it, but,
Yeah.
so.
4 other people looking at my calendar. So should I just leave it? Is that what we're kind of going with this, or just take it out, or?
The intent was to, instead of having to try to schedule them, to have one on there, and if we, if you don't get a notice saying we're going to have a meeting, or we don't have something to discuss, then you can ignore it.
Okay,
Instead of having to try to schedule it, unless it ends up being a topic that needs to be covered
All right.
right away, like our meeting coming up next week.
okay, so like our meeting coming up next week, that would have, but the timing didn't work out,
Yeah,
so that would have been, okay. So I'm just gonna put the word tentative in front of it for
That's-
all of the rest of them,
that's-
all of
It's the
them, done.
second Monday, right? What
Yeah.
was it?
It's the second Monday of every month.
Yeah, and we probably could have pushed the meeting for next week off, but that's fine.
That's okay, I just added the word tentative, now I'm clear. Thank you.
I had a question on the van training for Tuesday. What
Yeah.
kind of things are happening for COVID precautions for
We
van
also-
drivers and riders?
That
Do
was
you know?
that was asked at the Legion meeting, so essentially, prior to and post, transport, they will be disinfecting and cleaning the vans as well, so that was a question asked.
Masks in the
Yes,
van?
yep,
Yeah.
yep, proper PPE, gloves if they so choose. But, again, it's a curb-to-curb provider, so
Mhm.
essentially they shouldn't have to even make contact with the occupants, they're essentially pick up and delivery.
They're scheduled, right? So
Correct,
But wheelchairs, right?
correct.
So there may be some,
If that's the case, Pat, they're also requested, if it's a medi-transport with a wheelchair, there is, it is suggested that they have an occupant with them as
Mhm.
as a partner or
right,
a helper, so,
okay.
yep. But that was also addressed with the Legion and Legionnaires.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Now we'll move to G, building permit report, and it is in the packet. H is court report. There's
Nothing,
none.
nothing for Kristen.
10, communication and miscellaneous business. A, Black Otter Lake District News.
We haven't met since the last board meeting, but I just wanted to, I don't know if I mentioned it at the last meeting, we have a July 15th meeting. And then our annual meeting is August 31st, which will be at Alonzo Park again. With,
Rods and
rods
butters.
and, right. So, both at 6 PM, I believe.
Any questions for Pat?
I can also add, other than that, the pier, I don't know if I also updated last time, there is the portable pier and their launching pad, it has been installed at Alonzo Park, and they have been harvesting. So there's quite a bit of weeds that have been coming off the lake now, as of late.
We'll move to B, Hortonville Hortonia Fire District News.
We had a very interesting meeting. Tom Banker showed up for his first meeting and was reading through the agenda, and a little humorous, he got to introduction to the new president, and he says, okay, we have to introduce the new president. He looked up and he said, well, who is that? And then everybody Jack pointed out, that's you. He's like, what the heck kind of stuff? He was a little caught off guard as to what his position there was gonna be.
Whoops.
Yeah. So,
He handled it well.
but yeah, he did very well. It was very humorous though.
I'm sure I told him.
Yeah, well, he wasn't quite clear on that when he went through the agenda. The fire department said their calls are down, probably possibly COVID related. The first responders, they're about the same. The Hortonia township president moved out of the area, so I think Dennis Clegg is going to be the temporarily fill that position until their next election.
Correct.
And there's no, there may be some questions that come up as to how that impacts the agreement between Hortonville and Hortonia with the fire department. That's yet to be seen. They had some numbers with their checking accounts. It's in my other vehicle if you want to.
Yeah, I didn't, and
Yeah.
again, their budget is in line, nothing, I reviewed it today again, nothing stuck out. Fire is at 31 calls, to be more specific, they're down 10 at this point year-to-date from last year. EMS is at 93 calls year-to-date, Last year they had 301 total for the year, so at the halfway point, they're down quite a bit from last year as well. Like Jim said, they're also, we have discussions, we're gonna meet in August to have an initial look at their budget. I sent an email today to Tyler Huss, who's taken over for Matt as their treasurer. We are currently reworking their budget, because as you saw last night, it's a hard budget to read. They basically use the line items, and we're gonna break it out into departments, 10 departments, and just break it out and then give information on a separate page for each column. Just a little bit of cleanup. Other than that, they did comment on fire department needs. Right now, minimal. They're gonna do some LED upgrades to engine. They keep breaking lenses. Just a lot of heat. They're old, they're 20 years old, so they get fragile. So a lot of them, they're gonna start converting into LED lights, which are cooler and less emittance on heat and energy, so.
They do need to replace 5 individuals on the volunteer force. So if anybody knows anybody, they are taking applications.
EMS as well, and I put that back out on social media today. Yeah, they're hurting. Their numbers are down, and these are tenured, long-term. Their main people that are, the main go-getters are the ones that they're losing. It's not there's a group of 15 that are always involved. They're losing 5 of their good guys, so they're hurting a little bit here. So the push is on to get some recruits here.
They said that's a common problem statewide.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just, they've been doing okay, where other departments were hurting, and now it's catching up to them.
Yeah, I know at one point Jack said that they had a wait list.
Yeah, yes, they did.
Yeah, and so things change, yeah.
Yeah, there's a significant amount of training and things that have to go on, and a lot of time commitment for a volunteer position.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an 80-hour contact course in order to drive a vehicle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So these guys are, they're putting their time in.
Yeah. What's that for that?
We'll move to C, Gold Cross Ambulance Run Report and News, and it is in the packet. Are there any questions on it? We'll move to D, Hortonville Civic Association.
None.
E, Senior Activities Committee.
The agenda went out for next Thursday's meeting, Thursday, June 25th at 1 o'clock, and it'll be here. I know there'll be a number of members that probably won't be able to come per their agency's restrictions during COVID, but we're gonna go ahead and meet with whoever's here, have them call in if possible. So that's it.
11 would be comments and suggestions from citizens present. There is none. And 12 would be motion to appoint minute taker for closed session. I would like to appoint Shauna. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 13, motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session under state statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there, number 17, any action on matters discussion in closed session?
None.
Okay, then I would like to ask for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Oh, I'll second it.
Oh, come on.
All in favor?
I want to revote.
Took your thunder, Peter.
You can oppose.